A wonderful morning and welcome to Good Morning Minister, brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister, hosted by the Honorable Robert Morgan. Our guest today, Mr. Dwayne Berbuk, Corporate and Public Affairs Manager, the National Housing Trust. And our host, Robert Morgan. Good morning, sir.
It's been so long, I don't even remember. I haven't seen you in such a long time. I miss you so much.
Yes.
So, what? I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry. She abandoned me last week.
My name is Nadine.
So as a rule, people abandon me, I forget their names. Hey Nadine, good morning.
Good morning, Minister.
You know, since you have abandoned me, I've had to look to Jesus for comfort. And in that vein, I would like you to play an appropriate song for us this morning.
Sir. I'm doing a Jamaican version.
Sure.
As I lay me down, heaven hear me now. Said I'm lost without a cause, after giving it my all. Winter storms have come, and I can make sense. After all that I've been through, and everything I told you I would do, After all my strength is gone, and you will keep me strong, I would do, yeah. And the melodies are gone, and you are here to shine too. About to lose my breath, there's no more fighting left. Sinking to rise no more, searching for that open door. A road I've taken, led to my regret, and I don't know if I will make it. Nothing to do but lift my head. I look to you, I look to you. After all my strength is gone, and you I can't be strong, I look to you, I look to you, and the melodies are gone, and you are here to song. After all my strength is gone, you are keeping me strong. I look to the moon and the moon. melodies ever love. You are the sound I love to you.
Good morning, and welcome to Love 101 FM, the family station, and this is Good Morning Minister. Nadine, good morning. Thank you very much for the blessings this morning. We're live on TikTok, and we're also live on GIS Facebook. We're also live on Instagram and many other places. This morning we have with us the person in charge of communication at the National Housing Trust, Mr. Dwayne Berbuk. Now, Dwayne and I have known each other. How many years now, Dwayne?
Too long to go.
Jesus Christ. Back to a foregone life at CVM TV, putting you in the picture. That was where we all started out. Thank you, Dwayne, for coming. We have a lot to discuss this morning, and I want to welcome those our viewers on the Facebook page of Jamaica Information Service, as well as those on Love 101 FM listening to us across the island. You can call us, and I'll give you the calling numbers later. But you can call us and WhatsApp us and ask us your relevant questions. So today it's all about the NHT. A lot of persons have been asking us about the benefits and whether we're building any houses for poor people. They say that we're not building any house, Nadine. The calling numbers are 968-8327, 968-8328, and the WhatsApp number is 997-3125. So that's calling 968-8327, 968-8328, and our WhatsApp number is 997-3125. So there have been a lot of conversations, especially on social media, about the role of the National Housing Trust and how the National Housing Trust is working to assist Jamaicans, especially poor Jamaicans. I don't like to use the word poor. Let's say financially challenged, because poor only means money. You can be poor in spirit. Well, a lot of Jamaicans are rich in spirit.
Or a more appropriate term is the affordable end of the market.
Yes, the affordable end of the market. Right. You see, that's why he's the communication manager there. Now, so a lot of persons have been asking us to talk about the NHT. The NHT has been doing a lot of big things over the last couple of years. I remember in 2016, you were building, probably having like about 1,400 housing starts per year on average, and now you're touching close to 10,000 houses per year. That's a big improvement. But before we go into all of that, I want to ask Mr. Berbuk, what is the NHT?
So the National Housing Trust is an institution, I like to say, built on partnership. It represents, in my opinion, one of the greatest partnerships that have ever existed in Jamaica. Right. A partnership between the workers of Jamaica, a partnership with the employers of Jamaica, and a partnership that extends even beyond that to mortgage institutions, developers, the different players in the construction.
On this radio station, we dispense with the big words. So
I thought that one was a soft one.
We go as simple as we can. As while there are many persons out there who are competent to understand the big words, there are also young persons, children who are trying to educate who may not be aware of those large words. So can you condense it in a more palatable manner for me, please?
All right. Big word. In TV and radio, when we don't get it right the first time, we say take two. Take two. Let's go again. So the National Housing Trust represents a union between the workers of Jamaica, the employers of Jamaica, and different players in either construction or mortgage financing. So with the workers of Jamaica, every individual in Jamaica who earns at least minimum wage gets to contribute to this institution and be able to, in return, access a major, wide suite of benefits that we can always talk about a little bit later.
So how long has it been around?
The NHT started in 1976, which I'm an English student, not a great math one, but I think I can confidently say we're about 47 years old this year. So the NHT has been around for 47 years.
That's amazing. Yes. So what was there anything before the NHT?
Not that I can recall, not that I was around, but no, I don't think the NHT is novel in many ways. It represents one of a kind in not just Jamaica, but in the Caribbean. And what we do find from time to time, Minister, is that we have other Caribbean countries that come to Jamaica to actually try and study this model to see if they can replicate something similar. Just recently, 2 months ago, we had our colleague institution from Trinidad and Tobago here visiting with us at the National Housing Trust, trying to understand how this successful program works and to see how they can replicate that back home.
So tell me, so you've been around for 47 years. I know there has been a lot of conversation about whether or not people who contribute to the NHT can benefit. How does it work to get a benefit from the NHT?
So as I mentioned, every employed Jamaican should contribute 2% of their monthly income to the National Housing Trust. And that is what really allows...
They should or they do?
They should. They should.
So does every employed Jamaican contribute?
The compliance rate is perhaps not what it's not 100%. It's not 90.
So can you still contribute in them?
Actually, no, you can't. And that's a starting point.
Right.
That in order to benefit from the NHT, you must be a contributor. Either as a PAYE, you have a boss, you have a company.
What does PAYE mean?
You have a boss, you have a company, you're employed to that entity.
So even like people who get them salary slip and them money in their bank account.
Them people there.
Okay, thank you.
Or you're self-employed.
Right.
You sell your bag juice at the school gate. You have your little shop. You're a dressmaker, a tailor, a farmer, any individual.
So for the lady who is, so like for example, let's say I own a shop. So nobody employs me. I go to the wholesale and I buy some goods and I sell it in my shop at the community and I earn a money every month. So how do I contribute to the NHT?
You register as what we call self-employed because that's what you are. You're your own boss. So you fall under the category we call self-employed contributors. And we have a compliance office. We have a wide network. We have a compliance office in every NHT branch, and we have a branch or service center really in every parish. So if you're one such individual, you can just go in, talk to a compliance officer, and they will walk you through the process.
So just go to your NHT office in the parish that you're in.
Yes.
Go to the compliance officer as a self-employed person.
Right.
And then that person
Ooh. There is a category of contributors that we have called voluntary contributors.
Right.
The NHT Act says if you're between the ages of 18 and 65, you're earning at least minimum wage, you contribute to the NHT. We do find that individuals are working longer, or perhaps they may reach retirement and have some kind of home ownership goal that they still want to pursue. Probably they want to assist a family member, and want to join benefits there. So the NHT allows actually contribution up to age 70 under those circumstances where an individual perhaps, as I said, reach retirement, but you're not finished with your home ownership goal just yet. You can contribute, as you had indicated, from, if you have a pension or probably any other kind of hustle that you're doing that brings in an income that is at least minimum.
So what if I'm disabled?
Disabled individuals who are disabled also contribute to the NHT and actually get a benefit just like any other contributor.
But let's talk about that a little bit more.
Sure.
So you're saying that having a disability does not prevent me from getting a benefit from the NHT once I contribute?
Not at all, no. And in fact, the NHT understands the needs of this particular group. And so we are a little bit more flexible in the application of policy to ensure maximum benefit there. I'll give you an example. If you are an individual who is disabled and you apply for an NHT scheme unit, the NHT actually reserves up to 10% of units in every scheme for individuals who have a disability. And we don't stop.
So hold on. So every scheme that is created by the NHT, 10 persons,
up to 10% of the units in that scheme may be reserved for individuals with disabilities. And we don't stop there in terms of just making the unit available to the person. We actually go a step further to retrofit the unit to meet the disability that the individual has. And the reality is that some persons are probably bound to a wheelchair and don't navigate the space as easily as others. So in that case, the NHT would put, for example, in place ramps that lead up to the unit. In the kitchen, the cupboards, you find we will lower them.
So you make purpose-built scheme houses for persons based on the disability that they have,
and to make them accessible, because it makes no point again this nice house and it's not functional.
So do you get a full take up of those 10% of houses?
Not all the times, and it's a relationship we in recent times have renewed with the Council for Persons with Disabilities, because what we also want to do is not wait until we finish construction to then identify the people. We want to find them before construction is finished so we can make those modifications for them. And in fact, Minister, we do those modifications at no extra cost.
So you would modify it for free?
For free. So if the house costs $10 million and you need your cupboards lowered, you need ramps, you need rails in the bathroom, we put in all of that.
And this is for the disabled?
No extra cost for persons in the disabled community.
So is the money that they pay back less than the money I would pay back?
No, the interest rate is a standard interest rate that the NHT uses. Okay. So payback will of course differ based off age, because the loan is calculated and repayment is in terms of number of years to repay is based off age. So that's where the difference comes in, really.
What about public sector workers? Is there anything special for them?
Similar approach in terms of allocating units in our developments for public sector workers. So in any NHT development, you'll find we have a healthy mix of teachers, we have nurses, members of the JCF, members of the JDF, because the NHT reserves the units there for them to take up.
Right. So we've dealt with some of the NHT housing, but building houses is not just the single thing that the NHT does. What about mortgages?
Right, I'm glad you said that, because many times the impact and the reach of the NHT is assessed by how many housing units the NHT builds, which is never a fair assessment. We've done significantly more, as you've indicated, in terms of number of houses built, but we don't often talk about the number of mortgages written. And in the same way that we talk about housing units moving from 2,000 to in the region of 8,000, 10,000, we've seen mortgages, the number of mortgages disbursed by the NHT move as well, from 4,000 probably 10 years ago.
How many mortgages do you have?
We write in excess of 8,000 mortgages currently every year.
So how much in all you have active?
In terms of the mortgage portfolio, we're looking at in excess of 150,000.
So 150,000 people have a house now, partially because of the NHT.
More than that, Minister, because in fact that 150,000 represent those who just get a loan from the NHT alone. The NHT, you can use your NHT benefit and get additional amounts from another mortgage institution, and you can also there are those mortgages as well. Those we don't have necessarily the figure. I don't have necessarily the figure for that now, because those are not on our books, but that perhaps represents another 30,000 or even more number of mortgages that the NHD has.
All right, so there are some questions here related to what we're talking about, and we want to run through them. We're going to run through some on from our YouTube page. Greetings, sir. I am 65. Can I get a housing grant, say 3.5 million for home improvement? And this is McNish.
To answer that question, we would have to first establish that you're still contributing to the NHD.
So is there a number that McNish can call to get this information?
929-6500.
So 929-6500.
That's our customer contact center.
Right.
Once you are still contributing to the NHD. At 65, you have just about 5 years to repay. You're running out of time, man. So you need to move fast.
Right.
You need to move fast.
So J Ham from YouTube is asking, what is the maximum benefit a single person can get from the NHD?
Well, the good news is that we've revised those loan limits effective July 1. So our general loan ceiling moves from $6.5 to $7.5 million.
So now you can get a $7.5 million loan as an individual.
As an individual.
What about if you're a couple?
Actually, before we finish with the individual and move to the couple, let's say you're buying a unit now that costs $12 million or less. The NHD actually moves that loan limit a little further. You could get up to $8.5 million.
What is that NHD unit?
100% financing the NHD provides.
So if the NHD is building a house that costs $15 million, they will give me a $15 million.
The NHD will give you the full $15 million subject to affordability.
If I can afford it.
If you can afford it.
All right.
That's the important point.
What happens to, J Ham is asking, what happens to one's contribution if they never had the opportunity to get a house under NHD or I guess a mortgage?
Your contributions are always there. The NHD holds those contributions. It's your money. We don't do anything with it. So whenever it is that you're ready to access that, the NHD does a refund of contributions. We hold every contribution for 7 years. They become eligible for refund in the 8th year. So in this year, 2023, we're refunding contributions that were made in 2015 or earlier.
Okay.
And we actually refund contributions at a rate of 2% per annum. So
you get 2%.
The money you pay in 2015, if you pay $10, you're getting back that $10 at 14% interest rate over the last 7 years.
But that's higher than
what you get at the bank.
That's higher. So it's nice as well. I contribute to NHD so I can get some better interest rates.
You're right on with that.
All right. So there's another question here. If I fall back on my NHD payment, at what point will NHD sell my house? I didn't know that NHD sell a house.
That's the old NHD.
I didn't know that.
That's the old NHD. So general loan principle, and not just NHD, general mortgage loan, anything. After 90 days, the person who will lend you money has legal recourse to recoup that money that they've lent you if you're not paying it back.
So you have 90 days to end the NHD.
Yes. But even when we get to 90 days, NHD has and we'll tell you, please don't make it reach 90 days. If you reach day one,
if you know you're going to have a problem,
day one, you're going to have a problem, reach out to us because we'll do the necessary modifications.
Because in COVID, you guys kind of
hold payments
in COVID.
Yes, never reduce interest rates. So you'll be hard pressed, Minister, in 2023 to find an individual who says the NHD has sold my house. I put it to you that individual would not have been communicating with the NHD because we have a range of services to help individuals. Because we do understand life happens. You know, you can't predict that you may lose your job, you may become ill, and the NHD makes those adjustments, whether we need to lower interest rate to allow you to be able to do it, whether we freeze your payments for 3 months or 6 months or 1 year, up to 2 years actually, we'll hold those payments for and allow you to get back on track. So no need to be ashamed if you fall on hard times, ill health, lost your job, anything. Just reach out to the NHD immediately and we will make the necessary modifications that's within your ability.
So there's someone online saying that the NHD lost their documents and I wanted you to give them a number they can call to resolve whatever concerns they have so that they can...
It would be good if I knew what process they were trying to do. But generally, our customer contact center, we can reach them at 929-6500 up to 9 or toll free 888 call NHD. You can always reach us via email as well. We care at nht.gov.jm.
All right. So we kind of got sidetracked a bit because the information was so powerful and important. But I wanted to go back into some of the purpose of the NHT. So what type of developments does it? I know you have the NHT housing scheme. Like I think Millerites is one of those housing schemes in Clarendon. But you also have these things where you partner with private developers to develop housing. You have this thing where people can borrow money to start their own house from the NHT. Tell us some of the categories that the NHT has for persons interested in owning a home.
All right. So as you touched, the NHT scheme units, we advertise those when they are ready.
And you're always oversubscribed.
Always oversubscribed. always.
People are complaining, like some of the people on social media say, boy, I'm apply 5 times. But that's the reason why I asked the question, because I wanted to make them know that it's not just one option they have, there are other options.
Right. And for your 5 time, trust me, there's a man who's applied 10 and get through on the 10th time. But let's not belabor that point. So you didn't get your NHT scheme that you apply for. What else can you do? The NHT's loan limit we talked about a while ago of 7.5 million. You can use up to 3.5 million of that to buy land, and you have the remaining 4 million for construction. So that's one way that your NHT loan
So NHT will give you 7.5 to buy land.
7.5 is your total amount.
You will get so you can apply for a $7.5 million loan, and you can use 3.5 million out of that 7 to buy land.
Right.
And you can use $4 million to start your house.
Your construction.
So even if you cannot get an NHT house, you can get the same money that they would give you to buy the NHT house or whatever.
Right.
And you can now buy your own land and build your own house.
And that's nice. I mean, I see my mother do that. Sweat equity is a big thing. Every holiday, Labor Day, one school is out. My brothers and I were throw marked a bucket, and my mother as a domestic.
So that's what your mother was a domestic
house. Built a 2-bedroom house, bathroom, kitchen. Yep.
So what she used to do? She used to, when she get paid as a domestic helper, she used to go to NHT.
Pay her contributions.
And
that time she had her stamp book. And I used to watch her religiously buy her stamps and open her book and paste her stamps in it so she can access her NHT benefits, she can access her NIS benefit,
right?
All of that.
Your mother is a smart woman, man.
She's a very that's where I get it from.
So all right. So you have option number 2, get the mortgage loan, 7.5, buy a piece of land, start house. What if you don't want to do that? What's the next step?
All right, let's say you have land already.
Okay, so you're going to give some land.
And we have a lot of that in Jamaica,
right.
Land just passing down. The land doesn't even have to be in your name.
So somebody can give me permission.
Once somebody give you permission, it's properly registered,
right.
You can come in and get that full 7.5 and start construction immediately.
So Grandma said, listen, from over the Aki tree there to the Aki tree there is your one. And she pay up her taxes and she give you a letter. And you go to the NHT and say, Granny, give me the Aki tree to the Aki tree. I want to build a house. And I show them my contribution. NHT will give me a loan of 7.5.
7.5.
To build up a bigger house than Granny house.
Yes. And in fact, we give you 1 year to do all of the building you can do. Before you even start collecting.
So you don't start pay until you're within 1 year?
Within 1 year. Because we give a year is enough time to do your construction, get your building plan, get your approvals, do your thing, and after 1 year, that's when you start repaying. And that loan product we call build and own land.
So you have NHT scheme, buy and build, and you have build and own land. What's the next one?
Open market.
This is where I go to a man.
Yeah, you don't want to buy the NHT one, you don't want the construction, but you see a man selling a house. And that's the one you want. Again, you can get your full NHT loan limit. 7.5, or as I said, if the unit is 12 million or less, we go up to 8.5 million. And you can get your NHT loan and you can make a purchase on the open market.
So let me answer this question. So I just leave university, 3 years or 4 years, I've been contributing to NHT. My mother has never taken a benefit from NHT. My father has never taken a benefit from NHT. Can I partner with the 3 of them to get a loan from NHT to buy a house?
Yes, you can. So NHT allows up to, under normal circumstances, 2 qualified contributors to pool them NHT benefit. They don't have to be related.
Right.
If it's a family of 3, the difference being a family member, 2 family members, and they are established that we're a family, and not just claim me as brother, but there's proof there that they can submit that it's a family. 3 individuals can co-apply.
So how much money can the 3 of them get?
$21 million.
$21 million.
$21 million.
So you're saying that if I have 3 family members coming together and we get a piece of land or whatever, NHT will give us, the 3 of us, $21 million.
$21 million.
To either buy a house or build a house.
As long as it's at least 2 bedroom.
So it must be 2 bedroom.
2 bedroom. At least 2 bedroom. $21 million.
But many people never knew that. So what do you call that? Is that an intergeneration? What do you call that?
That one, that one is relatively new within the last year, and we just call it 3 applicants. And it is reflective of, NHT policy comes out of conversations with customers. And I remember being on Nationwide one day, and a lady said, my 2 children trying to help me. Why you stop me at 2 people co-applying?
Oh.
And so that's why we took it a step further.
But some people on TikTok say NHT no like poor people. I want to help poor people. But that sounds like a lie them tell for
this is why we have a show like this and conversations like this to educate individuals.
So all right. So this is
on Love 101.
This is so exciting because a lot of people did not know that you, your brother, and your sister, you, your mother, and your father could come together and take a $21 million mortgage. That's a long good house.
And the good thing about that, Minister, is that the loan repayment period is calculated based off the youngest person.
Oh.
So if mommy is 50, daddy is 52, and the child in the partnership is 25,
then you're going to get 40 years to pay off the loan, which means your mortgage payments are going to be less.
That's exactly where I was going. And smaller, more manageable.
Within 10 years, that's payment is like
money benefits from. Exactly. And there's another product on this topic of parent that I want to touch on. We call it parent assist.
Right.
Let's say the parent is a homeowner. Through other means, whether they inherited one, they pay their NHT contributions but have never used the benefit and really have no need for it because they're a homeowner.
They can give that to them child?
Can give that to them child. Whether it is their full...
So I need to go talk to my father tomorrow.
They give their full 7.5 to the child, and the child in that case now has a start.
I need to find out if my father was paying his NHT because I want that money.
The child starting now, not at 7.5, 15 million, and the same principle that is not the parent's age that will be factored in the calculation. It will be the child's age. So again, that translates into a longer repayment period, which means your monthly payments are smaller and more manageable because you have more time to repay.
So before I came on this program today, I called some of my friends and asked them, what kind of questions should I ask the National Housing Trust? And one of the questions that I'm going to put to you, and I'm going to put it to you in the language of the individual who articulated the question, is
nervous.
What NHT do for poor people?
Wow.
It's a question I've seen it all the time. What NHT do for poor people? Because here's the reason. You don't hear about the $7 million house that NHT are selling now. You only hear about the $20 million, whatever.
We know that place.
So what percentage, like, give me an idea of the cost price in terms of percentage of houses that NHT build, and who are the people who benefiting from NHT?
The NHT builds units, if I go back the last 5 years, you can find the units built by the NHT that go as low as $5 million.
No, it's a lie, I tell.
And I kid you not. There's a scheme that the NHT...
Because the people have said that the NHT is only interested in rich people.
There's a scheme that the NHT delivered called the Estuary in St. James.
So how much house that?
1,200 house.
Are you sure it's not phantom house.
I am positive. I've seen
So you have 1,200 house. And how much was for each of the house them in the estate?
in the region of 5.5 million.
No, sir. We are come with facts now, and it's problematic. So let's try again. So fine, you have one scheme that have houses at 5 million. Me sure you don't have no more.
I can go from 5 to talk about some in Clarendon that were
That's my parish.
about 7.
Which is below the loan amount.
Yeah, the current loan amount.
So how much house was that?
You're pressing my memory now, Minister.
All right,
I wouldn't be able to
So
give you the exact
out of the 10,000, 8,000 houses that you built last year,
Mhm.
what percentage was houses for like people like teacher and police and them people?
We've been
Like people who earn, me not at them specifically, but like people who earn that level of money.
We've been deliberate in terms of the types of units that
Right.
we're building. The average, I would want to say, 8 million is a target that we look at.
So you try to build
for
a house for 8
1-bedroom
million. All right.
and a 2-bedroom at 11. Give or take.
Right.
We don't control the market. We don't control how much cement I can sell for at the time,
Right.
how much steel I can sell for at the time, which has gone up by 300% as an example since COVID. So we'll have some variations there. But in terms of policy, we target 1-bedrooms no more than 8 million, 2-bedrooms about 11.5.
So most of the houses NHT builds is between 8 million and 11.5.
Right. And if we go over, because it is a NHT
Right.
product, we, as I mentioned earlier, we give 100% financing up to a maximum of $15 million.
So a teacher who married to a police and them get a big salary increase recently and that went out them business can come to the NHT and each of them will get $7.5 million, which is $15 million, and they can buy a 2-bedroom NHT house.
Even as a single applicant,
Right.
if your salary can accommodate that, we go up to the 15 million.
So, but a couple years ago, I see you build some high rise though. Like, how that work? Like, what was that about? The one them downtown.
That is our inner city housing project.
Yeah, but no, is rich people thing though? Not sure.
No, Minister.
Yeah, man, high rise thing. That's somebody just say on TikTok say we not only build high rise for rich people.
No, that's our inner
So those,
city
how
housing
many
project.
houses were those?
Over a period, the NHT did quite a few thousands.
But
Yeah.
But you only build the big one.
We have them on Spanish Town Road. We have
But you
them,
only build the one on.
the one on, and I said the name.
No, let me tell you. You know why I'm doing this to you? Because it is important.
Yeah.
The NHT, and I am a mortgager.
Mhm.
I bought a house when I was very young, and the NHT was able to give me a mortgage to help buy the house. And it was kind of hurtful to me knowing all the people I knew, who, like my auntie who married to a soldier bought an NHT house. As a matter of fact, they got the loan and built the house. And I know a whole heap of people in Mineralites who bought an NHT house. And these are not rich people. But then people were saying, boy, NHT not helping poor people. So part of the reason why I had to bring you here is because I want to give Jamaicans the opportunity to get the knowledge so they can empower themselves to get the benefit. Right? So the reason why I'm asking you about like Ruthven Towers and I'm asking you about, because people who earn enough money contribute to NHT too.
That's the reality.
So-
minimum wage to as I can't even
So
predict
is it that
as high as
NHT,
you
the question I want to ask is,
Yeah.
is it that NHT should not build houses for, let's say, a person who is a bank manager who contribute to the NHT?
Let's use a little bit of facts. The NHT as at last year when we had Ruthven had in excess of 11,000 housing projects in the ground, 11,000 actual units on the ground. Ruthven at 100 and something units, by the math, would represent less than 1% of all
Out of
the
the
housing.
8,000 houses you built that year, Ruthven represent 1%.
Less than 1%.
All right. Question.
Less than 1%.
If you get your NHT refunds, would you still have your NHT points?
Yes. So two different things. NHT collects your contributions every year. They're available for refund, as I said. Come year 8. We hold them for 7 years. They're ready for refund in 8th year. That's one benefit, separate from anything else that you'll get from the NHT. So I know some people like to pile it up and come for it 5 years at a time. And I know there's some concern sometimes that, if I take it, does that mean I can't get a loan down the road? No. You can collect your refund.
How long
anytime.
after you get your first mortgage can you get a second one?
15 years. 10 years for public sector workers.
So we need to wait a couple more years.
And it's that because of the demand that we still have for first-time borrowers. And the architects of the NHT in its initial stage had that bias in it, that the NHT is really set up for the first-time homeowner. Over time, as the institution evolves, we do realize that after you buy the house, it's going to go through a little wear and tear. Gilbert come, Ivan come. It's going to need a little touch-up. And so we give a second loan 15 years later of $3.5 million. So you can make some repairs to that first property.
What if you use to contribute to and you stop? Can you get back your money?
Once it's available for refund, you can apply
every
for
8 years.
Right, you can apply anytime for that. And a lot of people like to do it January 1. I should point out, you don't have to do it January 1. If you come now, July, what date is?
No, I try to do it December, the last day of December. Question. What if one got an NHT loan? Can they get the difference since the new increase?
No.
Okay.
No, we're not able to do that.
And the other one, how do I go about getting a loan to get solar for my house?
All right. So there's solar panel. If you're a homeowner, you can actually use your NHT benefit to get solar panels. If you bought an NHT house already and you're coming back for the second loan, 10 in the case of public sector workers, 15 years otherwise, you can use that as a home improvement facility as well to buy solar panels. And we also have solar water heater loans that individuals can access anytime as well.
The other question is, and this is somebody raising a concern, Gravish. First, the teacher has to be selected when she applies after a scheme has been announced. It is frustrating when hardworking professionals keep applying to no avail. And I hear, Dwayne, it is good that so many Jamaicans want to own their own home.
When I started the NHT 10 years ago, when you put an NHT scheme out there, let's say we put 100 units out there, we probably would get 300 applications.
Right.
We put 100 units out there now, you're probably getting close to 20,000. And it shows how the mindset of Jamaicans have changed where home ownership is concerned. That it's not something to do way down the road and before I retire. And especially our young professionals, the greatest growth in our mortgage portfolio is actually taking place amongst individuals roughly 30 years and younger.
So most of the people applying are young people.
And getting the benefit too. And that's the NHT portfolio.
So last year you gave out benefits you wrote mortgages for 8,000 Jamaicans.
Right.
Do you know how many, separate from the mortgages, how many houses did NHT sell to Jamaicans last year?
Don't have that number offhand, but last year would mean that we're coming out of COVID.
Right.
So COVID, slowed down the construction projects a little bit. So since here, actually, we've put Catherine Estate, a partnership with HAJ. We've put some units out on the market.
Right.
Last week, we advertised some at Shrewsbury in Westmoreland. We're finishing up Perth Phase 4 in Manchester. We're also finishing up Silver Sun Estate in St. Catherine. So now in 2023, you're seeing the projects coming back out now, having come out of COVID.
But PM announced, what is it, 75,000 houses?
70.
I think you're gone about 40 already.
NHT is responsible for about 43,000 of that number.
Over the last how many years?
So we up to, just before COVID, up to 2021, the NHT would have done 21,000 housing starts.
Right.
Slow down, as I say.
Since the Prime Minister announced it in 2019.
Yes. Yeah. slowed down a little in COVID, but we're picking up back construction again. And a big part of what we're doing too is partnerships. So we have to work with the developers, whether it's 15 units you build in your little neck of the woods. The NHG will partner with you, whether it's 100 you want to build. We're doing a nice development at Howard Avenue, right here in St. Andrew. A high rise, might I say. That's not for rich people, might I also say. So we're also looking for those type of partnerships. NHD has land right across Jamaica. And we're also making those lands available to say, you're a developer out there, you want to help us build, and you want to help us build at that price point that I touched on earlier. 11 million, 11.5 or less, 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom. We're looking for those partners too.
NHD has land.
Colbeck Castle.
How is that going?
Colbeck Castle, we honestly have had some challenges as it relates to the joint venture agreement. Regrettably, one of the major stakeholders in it passed. And you know what that means. Legally, you know, we had to ensure that we make some adjustments.
What about Health Shop?
But it's ongoing.
Health Shop View.
We have a project there, Sandals Vista, but Health Shop View is really, I think, is HAJ.
So Health Shop View is a different organization.
Yeah, HAJ. Housing Agency of Jamaica. They have a project there.
So, well, somebody say I must look out for Clarendon. Anything in Clarendon?
We have more projects coming at Longville. We're finishing up.
So hold on, but Longville is what? How many phases you gone already?
We've gone probably 4 phases along Longville already.
And how many houses there about? I think about the last time I checked, is about 10,000 people who live in Longsville, you know.
Longville has phase 1
to 4.
1 to 4.
Are you going to 5 now?
Yes, we have a lot of land in
and that is Longsville on the border of St. Catherine and Clarendon. Well, it's actually in Clarendon.
Right.
But it's on the border.
Jump off the highway and you're home.
Right. So Lansville is going to be, you're going to build another phase.
Yes.
How many phases are you thinking of going for Lansville? You're going to go more?
I think we probably have another 2 or so at
so
Longville.
Basically probably 20,000 people will live there when you're finished.
Right.
That's huge.
And we've put the amenities too. So it's not that we just build some house and
all of that.
left the people out there. But we
and anybody can apply to live when you advertise Lansville. Anybody in Jamaica can apply once they are NHT contributor.
Yes, but preference will be given. I think you can appreciate to the
for
people
Clarendon.
who live in Clarendon or work in Clarendon.
Okay. And don't you have one up Birdshill as well?
Yes, we have another few hundred units that we're finishing up there, and not just the housing project, but that has come with also improvements as it relates to the road network,
like the
water infrastructure, right? And that's how the NHT operates. That's why I said earlier, you can't assess the NHT really just based off the number of loans we write or the number of houses we build. Because when NHT goes into an area, it means there's also what we call infrastructure development that comes. Improvements with roads, improvements with water. We're working on a nice project with NWC. You know, Mandeville, I'm a Mandeville man, and Mandeville have water problem. But we are improving as part of Perth, the development we're doing in Mandeville, the Greater Mandeville Water Network. So we're not just bringing the units at Perth, we're bringing water as well, that not just the NHT contributors at Perth, but the wider Mandeville community.
So let's just run through some parishes.
Benefit from
so let's just run through some parishes. St. Elizabeth.
St. Elizabeth.
I know you're doing some in Floyd Green's constituency, that joint venture there.
Right. We have a project at Brampton Manor.
Right.
We've delivered close to 100 already, and we have a couple more. We have a few more rather.
Anything in Westmoreland?
To come. Westmoreland, I told you, we just did Shrewsbury.
What about Hanover?
We just advertised that last week. Hanover, we have an ongoing project at it's somewhere in Green Island.
Right.
And we have another one to come as well.
What about St. James?
St. James, we have Estuary Phase 2, which represents another 1,000 another
What about
units.
Trelawney?
Trelawney, we have one at Windsor, not moving as fast as we would like, to be very honest. That project has been a little delayed, but that should bring another couple hundred units.
Did NHT get any other land in St. Thomas before it got expensive?
No.
But you know, with the brand new road, I hear, is the granny where you used to have in land when I were nothing. Right now, people are for the granny $50 million, $100 million for a little 2-acre on the beach side.
You know, I remember going to St. Thomas pre.
You should have buy some of the land.
and saying at a community meeting, buy the land, start your construction now.
Right.
Buy the land that you see idle next door to you, because in a few years
So do you have any schemes in St. Thomas?
We have some projects with private developers that should be coming on board under our GPP guaranteed purchase program in St. Thomas.
So, all right, we missed out Portland.
That's where I really, really want to make an appeal to say, if you have land in Portland,
Well, nobody
I want to sell it to us.
Portland.
Portland,
Nobody
we're
wants
not
to
getting
sell
much.
Portland.
That's a parish we're not getting much traction in. Probably the only parish currently that the NHT doesn't have
But
a
if
project.
I had
on
land
our
in
housing
Portland, I wouldn't
program.
sell it to nobody.
No. You see Portland, but let's get into a joint venture partnership.
look how
no?
Portland pretty.
And you can get
What
the
about
benefit
St.
from
Mary?
it. St. Mary, Galena readily comes to mind. We have a project there that should be ready in
St.
the
Anne?
next. St. Anne, there's a project when you just leave, what's that called? Noranda Bauxite, you go up a little, out of the blue is the name of the project.
Right.
Another joint venture partnership that we're just about finishing up as well.
And St. Catherine?
St. Catherine is where you have house for pictures.
I hear-
Catherine Estate,
I hear you have
Silver Sun,
Bernard Lodge coming as well.
Bernard Lodge coming, and we're grateful to the Prime Minister for his intervention there to also assist.
Because I hear it's not for high income, it's for low income.
Right, and working out a partnership as it relates to infrastructure development, which impacts cost as well. So we expect that the units at Bernard Lodge to come in at a really nice price point. With
Last one, Kingston and St. Andrews.
Kingston and St.
That's the
Andrew.
problematic one.
We're running. The truth is, we are running out of land in Kingston and St.
But everybody want to live at town, brother.
and everybody wants to live in there.
Let me ask you a question. What does the concept of demand and supply have to do with the prices of the houses in Kingston?
All right. Availability.
So the land expensive,
We don't have much land,
right?
so already the land is
the price
expensive.
right?
It means too that the construction inputs, believe it or not, they vary from location to location. So a bag of cement in Kingston don't cost the same as a bag of cement out in Manchester.
Which one? Why? More expensive in Kingston?
More expensive in Kingston.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So the construction inputs change as well. And again, as I said, the scarcity of land means we don't have enough units. So the costs are a little bit higher in town.
So there's more people want more house, but less houses are available because there's less land.
Right. And in the cases where you have to
Competing
go
with private developers as well.
and in those cases, to maximize on land, you have to go not wide, but
You can't tell people.
which means you have to put in infrastructure like elevator, you have to put in
so that makes it more expensive.
that factor right back into cost. Yeah.
But you can't tell people say them not to live at town, man.
No, I'd never.
Yeah, try.
I'd be honest with them and tell them it's
You
going
them.
to be a hard task. And you have to go
So if I don't
pay a
want to live in
different kind of
Kingston,
money.
So if I don't want to live in Kingston, where's the next best place to live?
Call me bias, but Manchester.
Well,
And
I knew
And you need to run, and I was about to say you need to run into Manchester now, because that stretch, let me not say Manchester, that stretch, St. Catherine is already an ideal dormitory community, not just Portmore now, but we're looking at broader St. Catherine as a dormitory parish for people who work in Kingston and St. Andrew. And we take that further, Clarendon, and now the next frontier, Manchester. Highway. Access. It means that the 1 hour it's probably going to take you from Stony Hill to get into New Kingston is the same 1 hour
from Monday.
It's going to take you from Mandeville to come into Kingston. So, and that's what housing and the housing market, I think, requires now, Minister, that we have to be a little bit more deliberate. We have to be a little bit more open to the options. And we talked about some of them. It's probably not going to be buying. It's probably going to be building. It's probably going to be building with a family member. I know Jamaicans don't really like that. But the reality is that we can't use the me alone I do it kind of mentality. You're not seeing the NHT do that. As an example, we are partnering with developers wherever they are in Jamaica to get the houses to the people. And it shows that times have changed. how we approach housing must also change. So get that piece of family land properly registered and build on it. Probably you don't want to live there. Sell it. Take your equity, your stake from it, and spend that money somewhere else. It's not going to be that the house are going to drop out of the sky and land on you. It requires you listening to conversations like these so you realize how involved you have to get. Come to the NHT. We've moved eligibility letters online now. So you just go on the NHT website now, register. We have all your information already. So pretty much you just go and press that button that says generate and you get an eligibility letter. And that's an important document because you have to know where you're going to start.
You can now go on the NHC website and they will tell you how much money you're qualified for and how long.
A formal letter that you can take to your realtor, you can take to the bank, you can take to a vendor and say NHT is giving me this amount. And that's an important starting point because many times you say, we want a house. What kind of house? Me no know. Where? Me no know. How much can you afford?
Somebody says your website not working. Let me check. I mean, I believe. Because
nht.gov.jm.
Your website is working. So why would somebody come on the live and say the website not working? We don't need to not do it. Do not do it. Do not do it. We're in a Christian station and we're not supposed to tell lies. Nadine, we're going to have to pray for them at 12 o'clock. Dwayne, we're run out of time.
I can touch one final point, Minister.
Yes.
Home grant.
Oh yes,
home grant. You kind of been hitting at what is available for low-income individuals. Once you've contributed to the NHT for at least 7 years, you earn at least $15,000 per week, or $15,000 and less. The NHT gives you a grant of $3.5 million. Grant means a free money. You don't have to pay back that $3.5 million. You take your loan.
Hold on, stop. Repeat what you just said a while ago.
You contribute to the NHT for 7 years. You earn, I see some people in here interested. You earn less than $15,000 per week. $15,000 or less.
So if you earn less than $15,000 per week, which is just about a little bit above minimum wage,
yeah,
and you have been contributing for NHT for 7 years, the NHT will give you $3.5 million.
Give you $3.5 million in addition to your loan amount.
Free of cost.
Yeah, you have to take the loan.
So you get the loan. Get the loan. $7 million.
We put 3.5 on it.
So the person who earned 15 grand get more money than the person that won 300 grand. I don't understand that. I never got a home grant.
The reality is, Minister, the person who earns at that level, truthfully, won't probably qualify for the full 7.5. So the 3.5 really, they qualify for probably about 3 million. So that 3.5 really brings them up to where everybody else is at that 7.5.
Definitely. Listen, I see Nadine over there hitting her head. Nadine is going to ask for a salary deduction. Nadine want the 3.5. Listen, it was a wonderful day. We are totally out of time. I want to thank you, Dwayne. One of the most informative programs we've had. One of the most informative programs we've had in a long time. And I know people are very appreciative. I know the people on Love 101 FMR have been very appreciative. The people on Instagram, the people on YouTube, Facebook, and also our lovely friends here on TikTok. I see that the TikTok people I get nicer every week. The first week they bad me up. I feel like we're out of the studio, but now we're working together. They're asking their questions and we're trying to answer their questions. Thank you very much. Visit the NHT website, call the NHT number, get all the help you need. We are going out of here just as we began. Nadine, take it away. Wonderful day to everybody.
In you I can be strong. I look to you. I look to you. Oh, and the melodies are gone.